As I was watching War Games last night, I started getting this feeling that maybe it's time that we move on from the War Games gimmick match and go back to the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series tag matches. The Survivor Series tag matches of old, where it actually created, legitimate stars like Randy Orton. It gave you a lot of drama. It gave you a lot of oomph and a lot of, good stories. It created stars. It created fan favorites, and it introduced new talent to the fold. And those were personally my favorite matches to look forward to every single year, whether it was the Raw versus SmackDown brand supremacy matches or a rivalry where you had a leader and another villainous leader, the face and the heel leaders on opposing teams, and they would have to find their teammates, right? I like those type of matches because they felt more appropriate for a Survivor Series. Now, the War Games thing, it was good for a while. It served its purpose, but now I feel like we're just doing War Games to do War Games, and there's not much story involved. There's not a lot of heat going into these War Game matches anymore. The women's War Game match fell flat. This was the worst women's War Games match ever. It did not deliver. I thought that Lash Legend, when she came out last, I thought she made an impact. I thought she looked good until she got missed by Asuka. The match it wasn't doing it for me. Even with AJ Lee in the match, I thought she looked good in her getting her stuff in. But at the end of the day, Io Sky did her usual cage spot where she jumps up from the cage, jumps off from top of the cage with a trash can over herself. That always looks impressive, but it's nothing we haven't seen before. And so I say, let's just get rid of War Games, call it a day. That's what I felt watching the pay-per-view. It's like something tells me this is going to be the last War Games for a while because it just feels outdated, drawn out, overstayed its welcome. Now, the men's War Games was slightly better. Had blood, more violent. Braun Breaker took a nasty bump. I thought he broke his neck. And dare I say, that could have been the seed planted for major neck surgery in the future. Hopefully not. Hopefully that was just a scare and nothing comes out of that. I would suggest Braun Breaker to stop doing the spear. Instead, find a new finisher for the time being. We don't want to aggravate that neck. You know what I'm saying? The War Games for the men had a lot more to it than the women. The surprising, the mystery attacker that showed up in a mask. I'm pretty sure that's A-Town, Downtown Under, Austin Theory. Could be him for the most part. I don't know what's going to come out of that or how that's going to be revealed, but I guess we'll have to watch Raw and find out. And one thing I can say about Survivor Series that they at least gave you something for you to think about and for you to tune in to watch Raw and SmackDown, mainly Raw. And that brings me to the best match of the entire night. The match that, for me personally, stole the show, which was John Cena versus Dirty Dom. And I have to say, this was a career win for Dirty Dom. This to me was a career highlight, a career maker for Dominic Mysterio in a lot of ways. It was good to see Liv Morgan come back, and I thought her return was executed pretty well. She got to be in there with John Cena, which I'm pretty sure she enjoyed. We saw something different with Roxanne and Raquel being at ringside, where Raquel, when Dirty Dom was out faking his injury, and I thought, okay, Dirty Dom landed roughly on that shoulder, it looks like the match is going to be stopped. I was under the impression oh shit, he's really, really hurt. This is not good, right? They had me. They had me good. I fell for the okie doke, just like probably everybody else did. But it was the fact that it was the way they pulled it off that made it memorable. And now that Dirty Dom is now being known to, for these unique and dirty heel finishes, it's what's making him stand out even more. Shades of Eddie Guerrero. And it let me know that Dirty Dom, once he drops the Intercontinental Championship, he's gonna be transferred to the main event scene. He's gonna be a future main event player. It's only a matter of time. I really like this match, mainly because of what Dirty Dom did in it. It wasn't much of John Cena. He did his usual 5 moves of doom. Crowd was loving John Cena. John Cena was over. It was his last PLE, right? I got a lot to say about his heel run in later videos, not right now though. But I enjoyed this match. I thought this was the highlight for Survivor Series, the best part. And Liv Morgan pulled off the heel John Cena at Elimination Chamber. I thought that was a nice touch. The way she pulled that off and the way she had everybody fooled that, she's turning on Dom for Dom and Roxanne having something going on, right? While she was out with a shoulder injury. But they're going to continue that story where it's going to go even further. It's going to have more heat to it. But yeah, I can't complain much about that match. It was good for what it was. The Women's World Championship match between Stephanie McCare and Nikki Bella. At this point, I'm afraid that Stephanie McCare is now becoming a devil's kiss. That's what she's known for. And I think that's a mistake. You want to highlight this woman's ability in the ring. And this has been an impressive 12 months for her, in her entire career. And right now, she's on top. Michael Cole had said something that about Io Sky being the best female wrestler on the planet, or just the best wrestler on the planet. Well, if that's the case, if Stephanie McCare defeated Io Sky, wouldn't that make Stephanie McCare the best wrestler on the planet then? I just thought I'd point that out because it doesn't make much sense to say that about Io Sky when she was the champion, she didn't defend the title except WrestleMania. She didn't have a lot of matches with that world title. So how is she the greatest, the best wrestler on the planet? It doesn't make any sense why he would say that. Technically speaking, it would be Stephanie McCare, right? Thought Nikki Bella did exceptionally well. As a villain, she just moves better. She's more confident in herself. Thought she did her part. There's no needed to run this back again. Just kind of, nip this in the butt. Let's move on. For Stephanie McCare, have her challenge, have her face somebody different. There's no need to prolong Nikki Bella and Stephanie McCare. Just end the Survivor Series and move on, right? Overall, War Games was a bummer, to say the least. It did not live up to the hype. I thought the last 2 War Games, 2023 and 2024, were a lot better. Blew away this year's War Games. And that's why I got the vibe that maybe it's time to wrap this up. Because it did not feel like a War Games pay-per-view. It just did not. Something felt very off with this PLE, with the War Games matches. And that's a sign right there to just can it, bring back the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series tag team matches. Let's go back to Raw versus SmackDown. Okay, let's go back to those type of matches where things were way more intriguing. Things made sense. It's about brand supremacy. Who's the better brand? Raw and SmackDown got beef. Like let's get right to it. Like next year, let's scratch War Games for good. With Cody and Roman and CM Punk at the very end, I thought it was interesting to see Roman helping up Punk, but he does not help up Cody. He had said, "This is the last time we're teaming together. I ain't never teaming with you ever again." So that signaled a future match between Roman and Cody. I guess that's cool. Um, I'm just not excited with that prospect of seeing Roman and Cody again. And I'd rather see Roman and Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship if that's the route that we're taking. But Cody seemed to be more busy with Drew McIntyre, and let's not count out the prospect of him and Randy Orton. And good for Braun Breaker that he got the pinfall over CM Punk, which signifies he's winning the World Heavyweight Championship in the future. That's going to be your WrestleMania match for WrestleMania. I mean, yeah, your World Heavyweight title match for WrestleMania, Punk and Braun Breaker. Um, yeah, not a lot that came out of Survivor Series except what we got with that Intercontinental title match with John Cena and Dirty Dom. Like I said, this that match was a career defining moment for Dirty Dom. And that's going to be his biggest moment, right? That's going to be that match that catapulted him to the next level. And I thought John Cena did a good job of getting him over. So let me know what y'all think about War Games. What's your overall opinion, your overall analysis on the show? Let me know down in the comments.